Welcome back to Steel and Bands. Okay, Linda, let's talk. This is a subject that gets people all in. Everybody's got opinions. Who should be on, our currency, what it should look like. Of course, we were all very used to the Queen being there first and foremost.
Well, and then we had the coronation of King Charles. And so right away, the men said that Charles was going to start appearing on the Canadian 20 and on coins. So this is what the Toronto Star mocked up. This is what it would look like. And a lot of people immediately said, come on, we surely have enough notable Canadians that we could put someone else on the bill, like Terry Fox or what have you.
That often comes up.
Yeah, and I was thinking about all the people in history that are notable. We had some fun with some AI and sort of looked at, like maybe if we were historical figures, we could maybe be on the cover of the 20.
Okay, you look like you belong in The Princess Bride, and I look like Sarah Palin. Who did this?
About to have some sort of a get out your gun thing.
Very funny.
Here's another one. We were just mocking them up.
Gorgeous.
So we could show up in history.
We could.
Maybe we could even be famous rock stars, because as long as you've been passed away for 25 years.
Was that the rule?
Yes, that is the rule. And so, hey, maybe if we were famous, we could show up on the 20.
Linda looks like she walked out of the new Zelda, and I look like I just had my high school photo hijacked. Is that some good 80s hair or what?
Reality is neither of us
history.
are famous, so we do not belong on the 20. But we do know someone who knows a lot more than we do about some notable Canadians who actually should be on our money.
And some that you might not expect or even have heard of, which is an important part of this, right?
Exactly. It's all about the learning. And there are a lot of great Canadians to choose from. So let's bring in our next guest. Craig Baird is a podcaster and a historian, and he is joining us from just outside of Edmonton. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, thanks for having me.
When you heard about Charles actually showing up on the 20, did you immediately think, oh, that makes sense? Or were you thinking, oh, I have some other ideas?
Well, I think it's pretty much tradition now that we always have a monarch. I mean, I'm used to Queen Elizabeth II, as is everybody else. And but I think, it's the 21st century. We can probably start looking at some other people to be on the $20 bill. And there's a lot of great people that can be on it.
And not necessarily the most famous of people as well. So let's talk through some of the notable Canadians that are on your list. Linda mentioned Terry Fox. I think everybody agrees that incredible human has given so much to society and so much to cancer research. So Terry Fox goes without saying on this list, but take us elsewhere and down a path perhaps we wouldn't have
and
thought
let's
of.
start with, a scientist who was a co-founder of insulin. This is your first pick. Tell us why.
Well, I think Frederick Banting is a really great pick because he's somebody who he helped develop insulin. He sold the patent for $1 because he felt it belonged to the world. And he is the youngest Nobel Prize winner in medicine in history. And he's somebody who, he changed a lot of people's lives and changed the world. And he devoted himself to trying to, help people and change things. And I think he would just be a very good one. He's someone that a lot of people also recognize because he's so famous and he's helped so many people.
Yeah, you talk about him being the
There.
youngest.
Wow.
How old was he at the time?
He was 32.
Come on, that's incredible.
And gave up the patent for $1. I mean, selfless and brilliant and all of those things. Oftentimes, though, overlooked on many lists are First Nations and Indigenous peoples. So I know that there are more than one on your list. Let's get to
Chief Poundmaker.
Chief Poundmaker off the top.
Yeah, Chief Poundmaker, I think, would be a very good one. He led his people during a very difficult time, and he was in the news relatively recently when he was exonerated by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau because he was actually charged and convicted of treason during the Northwest Resistance, but he played a very small role in it. He actually tried to find peace rather than war, and he was just a very important person, especially to the Cree of the Canadian prairies, and I think he'd be a very good Indigenous representation on the bill.
Now let's talk about entertainment, because this one takes me back to my childhood. So everyone listen for a moment to Mr. Dress Up, Ernie Coombs.
Go over to the tickle trunk and I'll show you the rest of your costume.
Okay.
This way, please.
I love the tickle trunk. Tell us more about this iconic Canadian.
Well, I mean, he's Mr. Dress Up. I think he's the one you could choose that everybody would be happy with, no matter what side they're on.
Casey and Finnegan.
Yeah, he was a part of our history for, I guess, 30, 40 years, 3,000 episodes of Mr. Dressup. I grew up with him.
Yeah.
Many other Canadians grew up with him. And I think, who would be angry about pulling out a bill to pay for something and you see Mr. Dressup on it?
I would love that. I would also love Anne of Green Gables.
Yes. The author.
Yeah. Lucy Maud Montgomery, I think, would be a great one because, like you said, she wrote Anne of Green Gables, but she was also a prolific writer. She wrote 530 short stories, 500 poems, 30 essays, 20 novels. She sold millions of books and essentially drives the tourism industry of Prince Edward Island with Anne of Green Gables. But not even that. I mean, Road to Avonlea is something we all recognize as a famous show from the past, and that came from her books. So she's an excellent choice for that, I think.
I also like the fact that with her, you'd have to explain her a little bit. I like that about the dollar bill, where it's also a learning opportunity.
Yeah, kids don't go, who's that? And we're like, yes, you have read her novels.
Yeah.
There is another Indigenous candidate. I must confess, I had to Google this person. Married 2 acts early. Tell us about her.
Well, she had married a non-Indigenous person, and under the Indian Act of years ago, that actually resulted in her losing her status as an Indigenous person. So she actually fought to remove the gender discrimination from the Indian Act, and she actually succeeded in doing that. And that's why now, if an Indigenous woman marries a non-Indigenous man, they're able to keep their status, and it's because of her decades-long work to make that happen.
Marry 2 acts early. There's a story we're proud to have here on Steel and Vance. Also proud, let's put our earworm in with Stompin' Tom Connors.
And the girls are out to bingo and the boys are getting stinko. We think no more of bingo.
Oh my goodness, that voice, right? I mean, it sort of takes you back. I think people remember Stompin' Tom and banging away on the plywood.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know much about him beyond his music.
Well, I mean, he was somebody who grew up in the Maritimes. He grew up actually quite poor, and he essentially drove around Canada playing in these bars, stomping on wood and making a name for himself. And over the course of his life, he wrote over 300 songs. He sold over 4 million albums, and everybody knows who Stompin' Tom is. And he essentially, took our history and our culture and put it into song, and we can sing probably many of his songs. I mean, especially the hockey song, which is our second national anthem.
Hello out there. You're on the air. Hockey night tonight.
Good for you.
You're welcome.
You know what? I've actually
money,
looked
I'm sure.
on the Mint, and there are hundreds of notable Canadians who are actually, eligible to be on the currency. And I do think we might have a change. We might see a new face on our bills coming up fairly soon.
I think so, yeah. On the $5 bill, I know that it's been shortlisted for 5 people, of which Terry Fox, Chief Crowfoot, and a few other people have been shortlisted for that. But it hasn't been announced yet. I don't know exactly when it's going to be announced, but possibly this year.
How does it get decided?
Well, I think it actually comes down to the minister who decides, or at least announce it. They actually had a whole list of nominees, but then they put it down to the 5, which came out, I think, in about 2021. And then I think it's just a process of choosing the right person. It's kind of what we went through when Mona Parsons was chosen for the $10 bill. Mm-hmm. And now we're kind of updating the $5 and then probably going to update the 20 and so on.
So fascinating.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah,
thank you so much. It was kind of like going back to school, getting a history lesson, but in a super fun way. Craig Baird, thank you so much. Tell us what your podcast is called.
It's called Canadian History X, and it releases every Tuesday.
Love it. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll think of you when we see who shows up on the phone.
Thank you.
Thanks, you.
Craig. That was great.
I know. Terry Fox, that's who I'm going with. Yeah?
It'd be hard-pressed to
Zero
not...
Canadian.
Yeah.
No one would say he's not a good choice.
I agree. I do like the idea of it being a First Nations or Indigenous person as well, though.
I do too.
There's a good argument there.
There is.
Yep.
All right, coming up next, Saanich police need your help finding the jerks responsible for attacking a high school student. What the hell is wrong with people? That's coming up next.